Hi there, Poppin PJ here, and I am going to make a dog bed for one of the cutest dogs ever using this dresser drawer. This is Millie, and I love her. I'm her best friend, and she is mine. I found this dresser drawer on the side of the road. I've been wanting to make a dog bed, so this is going to be perfect. And Millie is not my dog, but my neighbor's dog, so this bed is for Millie. Here is the drawer from the side. These are feet from a table I had refinished, and I took them off and I saved them because I knew they would come in handy, and they are today. So you can see the drawer is very clean and has plenty of space for this small dog. And it was just weird that I found this single dresser drawer on the side of the road. It was like it was meant to be. I will next be taking off the tracks that were on the side of the drawer. And now to take them off of the other side. So I made my straight lines using this level as a straight edge, and I used this bowl that my friend had to make the half circle portion that I want cut out where the dog can just rest its head over the bed. And here it is all marked out, and it's ready to be cut now. I have never used this scroll saw, or really any scroll saw, and my friend has given me some tips on how to use it. First cut made. I like it. It's fun. I'll whip right through this. Not bad. It looks pretty good. Now I'm just using one of these curved pieces that I cut off, making the half circle there, to make a reverse curve, so that the lines, or I should say curves, on this box flow nicely. And it is better to always undercut and not overcut, because you can always take off more. So next I am marking up this thin piece of plywood board to reinforce the bottom of the drawer to hold the weight of little Millie, using the level as a straight edge to mark the straight lines between the markings. And now to cut it. First cut made. Voila, it is cut. So next we are taking the caps off the bottom of the drawer so that we can put on our piece of plywood board to reinforce the bottom. We are doing this by using very small nails that will go into the piece of connecting plyboard. I have to say, sometimes it's nice to have 4 hands when you're doing something. Next, we will be taking the metal pieces out of these cool feet I will be using for the dog bed. Now I'm going to be sanding the base of the dog bed here. I'm making sure to roughen up and get the front of the dog bed and the sides so that the paint will adhere nicely. And now I'm going to be using the scroll saw to try to even out the one side that's a little asymmetrical from the other, the best that I can. And now to sand where I just cut to smooth that out and try to get it more symmetrical. Didn't come out too bad. Woohoo! Holes from the tracking. Next I am going to patch the holes on the side of the drawer. I'm just pressing in the wood putty into the area and trying to get as much in there as I can, and then scrape off the excess. All done with that. Woohoo! And now that the putty has dried, I am sanding it. Now to sand the feet, and I'm using this 80 grit sandpaper. Look at it, it looks pretty good. 1 foot down. And now this foot, as you can see, has a large crack in it that needs to be filled with putty. So that's just what I'm going to do. Starting out using the putty knife. And now, as you can see, I'm just using my finger to try to push the putty in the best I can, brushing off the dust for the other 3 feet that did not have to be repaired. What do you think about my big bug eyeballs? Next, I am going to begin spray painting the bed a satin charcoal gray. Next, I'm going to sporadically spray paint a hunter green color on top of the gray. Now to spray a little bit more of the charcoal gray. Spray painting the feet charcoal gray. I had envisioned this dog bed saying family favorite because our dogs are the family favorite. So I am putting on the letters that I have already spray painted a light gray and measured so that they will be perfectly even with placing them on the front of the dresser drawer bed. Oh, Millie, I hope that you love this bed and that it's cozy and comfortable. I'm using this ruler as a straight line for the smaller letters that say family. And it is so true that our pets are our family's favorite. I love this. It's coming out great. So even though we reinforced the bottom with another piece of thin plyboard, it still needs to have more reinforcement. So I had this extra cedar board here and I'm cutting it into the lengths that I need for the bottom of the drawer. And now I'm going to be using my circular saw to make the straight cuts. Using the sander to sand the edges of the board now where I made the cuts. Board number 2. And number 3. So here is the first board I'm going to be putting on the back side. Using the drill to make holes so that I can drill in the screws. Drilling the holes from the inside. Placing in the first screw. And in it goes. And now that I have the first screws in place, I can place the bed down in this direction so that I can put the remaining screws in. Again, using the drill bit for making holes. In with the screws. Flip it around. Just starting the screws with my hand. Drilling in the screws. Two of the 3 boards on. Now for the middle board. Almost done, and then we're going to give it the Millie test for what I have done so far.
Sit. Oh, sit. Yeah.
So good. Yes. Yes.
So I went to talk to a friend before I put the feet on this dog bed, just to ensure that my thoughts were correct on how to do it. Since we are putting the screws from the inside of the dog bed into the actual feet, he suggested that we use his calipers to measure the most narrow part of the feet to ensure that the screws make it through the feet and not outside of the feet. How about that smiley face and that tongue sticking out? Drilling the holes. Rob just wanted to go back through those holes from the inside too. Putting in the really long screws. Those feet aren't going anywhere. We are using triple coated deck screws that we had left over from a project we did at my home on some stairs. They are 2.5-inch screws. That is done, so now I'm going to paint the inside of the dog bed and the outside that needs it. I had the lid of the spray paint can matched at the counter at Menards to get a paint that I could paint on with a brush. I paint a lot of things gray. I just think it's a very neutral color, works well with all types of decor. It's a rich color, and I just really like it. I am using a smaller paintbrush for the sides here and putting some paint on it and then just kind of rubbing it with my fingers because I really didn't want to get any paint on the side that I had already spray painted. Now to paint the inside of the dog bed. Making sure to cover up the screws really well. Look at it. So I thought that the front of the dog bed needs a little dog paw. And so I went to the Dollar Tree after work today and purchased this little wood piece that's like a door hanging and drew a paw on it. I am going to cut the paw out starting out with a small detail sander to see how it works, but more than likely we'll go to the larger scroll saw. Yep, I was right. I had to go to the larger scroll saw. I am not so worried about staying on the lines because I can always use a sander or sandpaper to smooth out the edges. Now just going to clamp the paw down and just try to make the cutting a little more precise. And yay, here it is. I made my own paw. Now I just need to finish it with sandpaper or a sander to get the edges nice and rounded. I started out with this little mini hand sander here, but then I went to my detail sander to finish it up. I want the edges nice and smooth and also the curved edges to be as nicely rounded as possible. So here it is sanded. It looks pretty good. So now I'm going to do a crackling technique for the paw using white paint and painting the undercoat solid white here. And don't forget the edges. All done with the base coat. So this Elmer's glue is the secret ingredient for the crackling technique. So I'm just kind of pouring some onto the paw and spreading it out with a foam brush, making sure to get it nicely coated to include the sides. I am going to use this gray color here as the top coat over the glue. I am just going to skim the gray paint over the glue that I just spread on the paw and get the paint just right on top of the glue, because that is what makes an effective crackling look. I'm getting excited because this is going to be so darn cute. Again, just making sure to get the sides. Now it's nicely coated and ready to dry. All dry, and now I'm going to paint the little dog pads on the paw black. I am so glad I drew the little pads on the paw using a pencil so that I had lines to stay within. I love that this pad looks like a heart. So sweet. So the paw is done. I just have to glue it onto the bed, and I have to attach the hardware. I am going to be using this tight bond glue, putting the glue on the back of the paw, spreading the glue all over to ensure good adherence, and placing it down on the dog bed. So it's time to stage the dog bed and put in all the essentials. These are seat cushions or pads. I had just purchased them at Walmart. Putting both of these in here worked perfectly as a dog pillow. It's nice and cushy, comfy. Gotta have a little dog bone toy. And another toy. So now all we need is Millie. I'm stoked at how this came out. I love it. From this to this. So Millie is getting in. Let's see. Look at that tail. I would say that she loves it. Her tail is telling me that the dog bed is poppin'. Here is the dog bed from the back. Oh, Millie, I love you. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much.